welcome everyone to another scorching Saturday, which means only one thing. Stace and Barry in the motherfucking morning, bitches, coming live
baby.
at you. Well, not live, but you know what I'm saying. We're kind of live-ish.
I mean, we're alive now.
Yeah.
I think I might be a sentient talking puddle. I'm Stace, by the way, because I have officially melted. But
in my mind now, I can see what Stace, the sentient puddle, looks like. Good times.
It's just a pair of glasses on top of a blob. Yeah, it's been rough. Okay, like I am Stace the summer curmudgeon. I've never been good at the hot weather because I'm allergic to nearly all of it. So I've got the hay fever. I've got a sun allergy now, so I just get rashes like all the time whenever I'm out in the sun. I'm like a really shit vampire, but at least I can still enjoy garlic.
At least you don't sparkle.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I do get quite shiny, but that's just from the sheens, the little layers of sweat. Glisteny, that's what I am. I'm glisteny.
Okay. Stace the Glistening Vampire. There's a Netflix show there. Got legs.
And not if I have to constantly be summer sweaty, because I don't want that. I don't want that for myself. What I want is I want a show where I get to be in places that are cold and I get to wear cosy turtlenecks and drink hot chocolate with marshmallows in it.
Maybe you can guest star on season 2, because season 1 of Barry Travels to Cold Places drinking hot chocolate in turtleneck sweaters is coming to a Netflix channel near you soon.
Oh, nice. Definitely.
It's just me going to places like Oslo and having a cup of hot chocolate and going, this is nice. Episode done.
What we'll have to do is the next time that we're actually together somewhere is we'll just do a little green screen where we're both in a turtleneck sipping a hot chocolate. We'll just put a snowy cabin in the background. Yes, we've definitely been here.
Oh, let's go. Hot chocolate. And done.
And scene.
And scene.
Oh,
right,
dear.
seeing as the heat is slowly addling our brain, shall we crack the proverbial on?
Let's do it. What?
For God's sake, woman, put some effort in.
I tried. There was
no excuses, none of that. Oh, I tried. Get on with it. Do a trumpet. You got one job. Better.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Not great, but better.
Wow. When did you become... The sun has made you harsh.
I am harsh like the Sahara.
Oh, God.
Unforgiving like the Gobi.
Okay. What segment are we doing?
We're going to do Pick of the Fortnight, and you're going first.
Oh, well, get that. Hey, I'm not going to, fanny about today. It's Paper Girls, innit?
Ooh. Oh, damn it.
What?
That wasn't the one I was hoping you were going to pick another one, which meant I could have done a different Pick of the Fortnight.
Oh, sorry.
I might have to do honourable mention because there's a show I want to tell you about. Okay, Paper Girls, go for it. I haven't seen any of this yet. This is just dropped on Amazon Prime, isn't it?
It has indeed, yes. So it's based on a comic by Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chang and Matt Wilson and Jared K. Fletcher. And I loved the comic when it came out. But the brilliant thing, well, it's a blessing and a curse. The brilliant thing about my brain is that I will read and absolutely adore a comic and then give it 6 months, I've forgotten it. So, I'll know if somebody says to me, "Ooh, what did you think of Paper Girls?" I'll know that I liked it and I'll have a rough idea of what it was about, but I don't remember, all of the story beats. So I was really excited about this show because I thought, hey, I'm going to be in that great, period where I don't mind if they change things because I'm probably not going to notice.
Yeah.
Unless they make it shit, I'm not going to be sitting there going, oh, well, that's different. Why is that there and why are they doing this? We binged it in 2 days.
Wow. How many episodes is it?
I want to say 8, but I didn't write it down and I could be talking from my arsehole. I'm not 100% sure, but let's say 8 and call it a day. It's brilliant. The two main things that really struck me is that the casting is like absolutely spot on. I don't know any of the girls that play the titular paper girls from anything else. They might have been in other things, but I haven't seen them, or I forgot. But they're all brilliant, and they all bring like something different to the table. I think that was one of the things I really liked about the comic, was that like it's 4 very distinct girl personalities.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I think they did a really good job at representing that. But then also there's a character in it called Grandfather, and I'm not going to go into like who he is because that's a massive fucking spoiler. But what I will say is in the show, he's played by Jason Mantzoukas, who is, you might remember him from John Wick. He's the guy who says, TikTok, Mr. Wick, or something along those lines. The TikTok man. He's only in it for like 30 seconds. But Jason Mantzoukas is somebody who should be like 1,000% bigger than he is, because he's a brilliant actor, he's a brilliant comedian, and he just seems like an all-round wonderful guy. And he is perfect in it. Like, when he popped up, I was like, of fucking course it is. Like, I was like, this makes such perfect. I can't believe there was ever like consideration that there'd be anyone else. And the great thing about him as well is that he's a really big fan of the comics. Because, in fact, he introduced the comic, like, before there was even a TV show, to Ali Wong, who is also in the show. And it was her saying that she'd sort of gone for an audition for it that made him, like, poke his agent and go, do you want to see if I can be in it too? Which is actually kind of adorable. But you can tell that he's, like, so, like, happy to be there, and he's, like, really giving the character, like, his everything, which is brilliant. But, like, the big thing that I love about it is, and again, it's the same thing that I loved about the comic, is that you don't often get, like, a coming-of-age story that is about girls that's also, like, a sci-fi time travel fantasy. You know, there's giant robots in this. There's, like, timeline cleansers. I believe there's dinosaurs at one point, but I don't think we got to that in the TV show quite yet. But this show just does it, like, so well at like bringing that comic to life. And I was just mesmerised. And then when it finished, I was like, no, where's the rest?
Oh, okay. So a good time.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping that it gets a series 2 and that it's soon, please, because I want it. I really want it. And I will say as well, because I know I've seen a lot of people online saying, oh, it just looks like, you know, Stranger Things, but girls. It isn't. Just because there's some girls on bikes, like, no. no. And this might be, do you know what? I'm going to throw down this gauntlet. This season was better than series 1 of Stranger Things. There you go.
But I think, right, that, which is fine, we've just said, but I also think that's kind of a blessing and a curse, because I think that's part of the problem, is that 2 properties can, like, be similar and exist in the same,
oh yeah, absolutely,
like, frame, and don't actually have to be compared.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's what, like, yeah. I mean, I did just say I would personally found it better, but I agree. Like, I don't understand why there's a really big thing in, like, film criticism and TV criticism at the moment that's just basically like, I'll tear down this other thing to build this thing up. I like Stranger Things. I'm just saying. Yeah. That's, like, don't be put off by it because you're just like, oh, it's just like somebody's just farted out another Stranger Thing. No, it's very different. It's still, like, it's very good, just like Stranger Things is very good, but it's a completely different beast. It's got a cracking, like, sort of 80s synthy soundtrack as well, which I loved.
But also as well, I just think it's quite interesting times that we live in that, like, if something is compared to something else, a lot of people are comparing it from a negative point of view. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, it's just another strange. Whereas I'm kind of like, well, that one season I wasn't that keen on. Like, I've loved Stranger Things. So telling me something is like Stranger Things, that's an in for me. You know, it's like if someone said to me, it's like The Mummy, right? The Mummy's a prime example. Loads of people would slag off The Mummy, going, it's just a rip-off of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I would reply, but a rip-off done well, I think you find, sir, doff the cap.
Even
the director of The Mummy said, yeah, it is. That's what I set out to do.
That's what I wanted. That is what I wanted.
You know, so long as I'm into, I don't care. Even if it was like not a carbon copy of Stranger Things, but even if it was very, 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 very similar to Stranger Things, I don't care if it's done well, if it's entertaining, it's got charismatic leads in it. I'm all, and it's 80s kids on bikes. I'm all in it. I don't care. I find it because I saw an article where it was kind of, I'm going off on a bit of a rant now, but it was because I saw an article where it literally said like, this is why Paper Girls is better than Stranger Things, and I'm kind of like, but hold up a minute. 2 weeks ago, everyone was saying like Stranger Things is like the best thing ever, and it's I just don't understand why people have got to take cheap shots at stuff.
Well, I was going to say you could just write an article about how great Paper Girls is. You don't even need to.
Yeah, you don't. And
I don't understand why people keep bringing up that comparison as though it says anything useful about either show.
No.
Like, maybe if you didn't like Stranger Things, maybe you might not like this, but it's not. It's very different, I think. Like I say, it's just got people on bikes. That's the only...
Yeah.
And it's a little bit, like, dark and that. It's not scary in the sense, like, the same way that Stranger Things... Do you know what? Stop comparing it, Stace. Fucking hell.
I think people should do comparisons from a recommendations point of view. That is always really useful. So if someone just said to me, you should watch a show called Paper Girls, and I was kind of like, well, what's that? You know, why? Because the title was it doesn't really give me anything. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if someone says to me, oh, it's got there's similarities to Stranger Things, like it's in the 80s and it's like, you know, plucky kids and they're getting up to all sorts of shenanigans. I'm like, stop there. I'm in. I'll check it out. And then they say, oh, it's got like a sci-fi and a time travel. Yep, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that to me is a good thing. You know, it's, I don't know. I could go on, but I won't.
Yeah. No, we'll just say that tearing one thing down to bring another thing up is stupid. Don't do that. And watch Paper Girls.
Yeah. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. That should go on there like a little flyer, advertising flyer.
None of the review I just did should go on anything. It's very rambly.
I'm going to sneak in two because one of these I really want to mention to you because I discovered it this week.
Ooh.
So I'll do the one that I was going to do that I thought you were going to do.
Okay. Then, I think I know what this might be.
And then you fucked it up. Which is Prey.
Yeah. Good, innit?
Oh, you know when you sit down to watch something and you're kind of just, yeah, go on then, I'll give it a go. Because, so basically, if people don't know, Prey is the next film in the Predator franchise. And in fact, it's actually set before the first Predator film by quite some way. And it's set in the world of the Comanche nation even, 300 years ago. Naru, a skilled warrior, fights to protect her tribe against one of the first highly evolved predators to land on Earth. And I have to say, I'm going to watch it again because I kind of sat down to watch it, not expecting that I wouldn't enjoy it, but I was kind of like, yeah, it'd be all right with it, something to put on. And by the end of it, I was kind of like, I need to watch this again. I need to go in, I need to sit down and watch it with that. This is going to be great. It was so good. And I think what was really good about it was that I think some of the later Predator films, they just tried to do Predator.
Yeah.
You know, they just kept trying to do Predator. And it was like, no, stop it. It doesn't work. And I think one of the things, I really enjoyed the second Predator film with Danny Glover. But part of the reason I really enjoyed it was, yes, it was a continuation, but it felt like it did its own thing because it was kind of like a cop film, but with a Predator.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the other ones that followed, it just kept trying to do more and more, and like, don't even start me on Aliens v Predator. Don't get me started. But what I liked about this one is that it stripped it right back to basics.
Yeah, me too.
And it was flipping awesome. Also, like, what I loved about it was like, even though there's a lot of death in this film and a lot of Comanches don't make it, boy, did they go down fucking swinging.
Oh, mate. Like, I was joking with Rich as we were watching it because there's somebody on the film review app called Letterboxd who does something that they call vegan alerts. And it gets, like, right down to the, like, minutiae of, like, anything that could be considered, like, cruelty to an animal.
Yeah.
So it was, like, human deaths, animal deaths, somebody eating eggs or dairy, or, like, it's literally like that, like, at 33 minutes, blah, blah, eats a boiled egg and stuff like that. And I just looked at Rich. We were only about 20 minutes into this film, and I was like, this whole fucking film's a giant vegan alert. Because animals die in this, people die in this. Like, it is, there's, holy crap. And it doesn't waste a single second. Hello, movies that are 99 minutes long and to the fucking point. I love you.
When I saw it was like an hour and 40 minutes, I was just like, before the film had even started, I'm like, I'm in, and like you said, it didn't waste a second. The music was awesome.
Yep.
Sarah Schaeff, I can't remember.
Shackner, I think it is.
Yeah. Did she do the music for Loki?
No, that was Natalie Holt.
Oh yeah, you're right, it was. She's done it for something. She might even have done an Assassin's Creed game. She's done it for something anyway. I've heard her name before. Anyway, her score was ridiculously good, and like I said, the Predator was good. The action was good.
Oh.
So I can't really say much about spoiler because there's some seriously honourable mentions I want to give, but
because this is one of the. So when me and Rich put it on, we were in a very weird space about it because a lot of the like critics' reaction to it was that like this is the best movie since like the best Predator movie since Predator, or maybe it's even better ? And then like a handful of folks on the internet were doing that whole. I don't know how you can suggest that somebody who uses like a spear can do a murder on a predator. It doesn't make sense. So I was like, is this where am I going to land? And then we watched it, and I was like, no, they're putting up a fucking fight, lads. Yeah. And like what I loved about it was how it sort of like referenced the first movie without being like, hey lads, how about this then? Wink. Like it was like. Because the great thing about Predator is that, like, Arnie doesn't win because he's got rippling muscles and 10,000, like, machine guns. He wins because he has to, like, go back to basics and, like, fucking outsmart the Predator. And so anybody who thinks that, like, people who are using, like, spears and, like, fairly rudimentary axes and stuff don't stand a chance clearly didn't watch or pay attention to the original Predator because
it's... watch the last 20 minutes of Predator.
It's like...
all for you.
Using your environment, it's about like using traps, it's about using the predator's like weapons against itself. I loved it, absolutely loved it.
It was I was ridiculously impressed with it. Also, someone sent me Dan, if you're listening, it was you. Dan sent me a screenshot which said it was a screenshot. So in the film, we've got Naru and her sort of sidekick is a dog.
Yeah.
And the dog's called
Sari?
Yeah. And literally Dan had sent me a screenshot of the dog and underneath it said best supporting actor. And I was like, yes.
Yes. Concur.
However, some of the most tense moments in that film came with fear for the fucking dog.
Yeah, I think it was a really wise move putting that dog in there because people tend to get more stressed about dogs dying than they do about people.
Yeah.
I will say this though, did you read the article that there was like an interview with the director and with the actress Amber Midthunder where they were talking about the dog and they were like, oh, that dog. So basically they were like, we wanted to be as like true to the times as possible, so we picked a particular breed that would have been the closest to what would have existed then, and we also like picked a dog that wasn't like super mega trained, so it would seem a bit more like wild feral dog. So they were like, literally every usable frame of this dog is in the movie because half the time the dog was just running around being a fucking nutcase, and we loved her. We loved her, but we were like, no, don't be out. What are you doing? She's gone. She's left.
Yeah. Over here.
I just love the idea of this dog just being like, I'm in the woods. Just oh, I loved it.
So my little shout out I want to give is to a show that I started watching this week called Surreal Estate. Have you heard of this?
I haven't, no.
Right, so this is on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Okay.
I know, because there's not really a lot on the Sci-Fi Channel. So yeah, I was as surprised as you are.
I'm worried about where this is going to go, to be honest.
Okay, I'm gonna read you the blurb, right? Real estate agent Luke Roman is the owner of the Roman Agency, a boutique residential real estate brokerage specializing in metaphysically engaged properties, also known as haunted houses. Luke has a special connection to the spiritual realm. He can not only sense the presence that might inhabit our client's house, he can often communicate and negotiate with it. Along with his team, Luke takes on the houses no one else can or will.
Okay.
Right. So when I read this blurb to begin with, I thought this was a reality show.
Yeah.
Right. I thought it was some shitty, Most Haunted or something. And so I put a trailer on for it, and then the minute it started, I was like, hang on a minute. I've recognised the bloke who plays Luke Roman. Did you ever watch Renona Earp?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. He's one of the characters from that. He played Doc Holliday in it, and I really liked his character. I was like, oh, he's the bloke from like Renona Earp. Okay, I'm interested. And then I watched the trailer for it, and I was like, this is not what I was expecting at all. So basically, what they do is, and you see it in real life where you've got houses where the houses won't sell because they've got some kind of dark history, like, a family got murdered in there, or it's supposed to be haunted, or blah, blah, blah. We see it you see it in a lot of reality shows, and what the premise of the show is that these houses actually are really haunted.
Right.
And what he does, him and his team kind of go in and basically sort the houses out so that they can then sell the houses for their clients. So they actually are real estate agents. And the idea is, when you really break it down, and the way they do it, watch the first episode, I really liked it. It is basically Ghostbusters. Because the whole concept behind, there's even a bit, so it kind of, what happens is he gets a new estate agent joins. So she sort of joined, and she even drops a line in it where she basically says, oh, right, so I guess I'm Winston Zedmore then, because she's lost a job and she comes there for the money. And when you think back to like the original Ghostbusters, the whole concept behind Ghostbusters was they started Ghostbusters to just make some cash.
Yeah.
It was a blue collar, blue collar job. It wasn't like some fancy whatever. They were just in it to make some money. And this is a very similar thing. They're there to sell houses, spooky, haunted houses, but they're there to sell houses. And it just so happens they've got the same skill set as the Ghostbusters.
Nice.
And we watched the first episode, I think it was yesterday, and then watched the second episode. And as soon as we finish recording, I'm going to go and watch another goddamn episode.
You do?
It's quirky and it's fun. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but like what I love about it is it's just quirky. And I love stuff like that.
I like the sound of it because it sounds like it's not going to be... Because, like, as much as I love a lot of the, like, genre stuff that we get, a lot of it can be kind of dark and or depressing.
Yes.
Or a bit too, like, mired in, like, the real world of, all the awfulness that's happening generally.
Yeah.
So it'd be quite nice to just watch something where it's a bit silly and about ghosts in a house.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. I'm definitely on the hunt for things that are less bleak and just a bit light-hearted. And this, from what I've seen so far, this fills the bill. But there's a couple of jump scare moments. I mean, even though it's a bit fun, there was a couple of moments like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
To be fair, though, Ghostbusters was a bit like that, wasn't it? Like, ostensibly it's a comedy, but that fucking library ghost is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Oh, that sounds good. Have we got time for a musical musing? We've
always got time for musical musing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more like it. That's the Stace I remember, god damn it.
I don't know what happened to me earlier because I'm even hotter now than I was there. Like, as a sort of very unattractive measure of how hot I am, I'm sitting on my office chair and my knees are so hot that I just felt sweat trickle down the back of my calf. So, I don't know how I pulled that one out of the bag, basically, is what I'm saying.
I'm now saying I'm probably going to be recording even shorter because after talking about Surreal Estate, the cat has now sat up and is now looking at a corner in the room, and I don't know why. It started to freak me the fuck out.
No! Once I found like a subreddit that was like weird shit my kids do or something, and so many of them make it sound like their kids are seeing ghosts, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my kid keeps talking randomly to this one particular corner in the house, and I'm like, ah.
Yeah, but kids will do that, But I think when an animal does it, the hell's that?
Oh, some tit on a bike.
Okay.
I've got the window. I couldn't bring myself to shut the window for noise cancelling purposes. Sorry. Not that it's helping. There is no breeze.
Yeah, no. Well, that's why I haven't even bothered. I'm like, why? It's just going to let in more warm air. Here's a warm breeze just to help you along.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Right. Should we do some musical musings?
Yes.
Do you want me to go first, or okay? Well, I'm sort of bogarting on your pick of the fortnight here because I picked Naru's Way from the Prey soundtrack.
God, damn it!
By Sarah Schachner.
I knew you were going to pull that. I knew either you were going to do a pick of the fortnight or it was going to be your musical music.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the reason why I did that, right? Is I was going to pick Prey as my pick of the fortnight, and then as I was making notes earlier, I was like, I can't just talk about Prey the entire time. So I'll do it for my musical musing, and then I'll talk about Paper Girls. So that's what I decided to do. But yeah, I mean, we've just talked, so we don't need to talk about this for very much longer because we've just banged on about how great everything about this film is and that soundtrack. Why is that tip coming on a bike back down this? What are you doing? God.
That's a good pick because I listened to the soundtrack yesterday, and that Naruto as well. That's good.
Yeah, it's top notch. Like you should just listen to the whole soundtrack anyway, people. But
yes.
that particular track is top notch.
So my musical musing is also from Prey.
Which one did you go for?
I went for Brave Girl.
Oh, okay. Yes, also a good choice.
Yeah, which is from the climax of the movie, and the best part of this track is where she does a move, which I'm not going to spoil, but she does a move, and at the moment that is up there with RRR as one of my moves of 2022. I might do some sort of award show at the end of 2022.
Oh, why have we never done a Stace and Barry Awards?
I know.
Just come up with like all sorts of nonsense categories, like best on-screen hot chocolate. Why am I obsessed with hot chocolate today?
No, but we could do best on-screen turtleneck. I'm up for that.
Mate, I watched The Great Escape the other day for the first time in my life, and the whole film I was like, James Garner in a turtleneck the whole time. Look at him, he looks great. And then I kept thinking to myself, they clearly filmed this over about 2 weeks, even though it's supposed to be over a year, because you would not rock a turtleneck in the summer with a jacket over the top, no less. But anyway. Sorry, you were saying best. Look, we'll come up with the categories later. It's only August.
Yeah, we've got time.
We've got time.
The thing is, we've just decided we're going to do a Stace and Barry award show. And
I was going to say, we've said it on the show now, so we have to do it.
Yeah, we have to do it now. So send in any category ideas you have. The more wacky, the better.
Yeah. Oh, dear me. Best tiger throw. It's sad that we didn't do this last year because I was going on about how much I love when in a film people throw chairs at each other. It doesn't happen very often. But was it last year or the year before? But there were 2 separate films that had a chair throw in them, and I was like, yeah! One of them was Nobody. Bob Odenkirk lobbed a chair at me. Yeah.
I still think one of the best chair throws is in The Mummy.
The Mummy, yeah. That's where I noticed it the first time. I was like, oh, damn, he took Benny's legs out, bro.
Yeah, you can't beat a good chair throw.
Oh, dear. Is that the episode done? Can we...
I feel we're done. Stick a fork in us.
Stick a fork in us. We are definitely cooked through.
Get the spatula and flip me.
If you guys want to talk to us instead of us saying nonsense then you can do us a tweet at Stacey's Parlour or at Geek Syndicate. You can send us an email to staceandbarry@gmail.com. And in the meantime, be sure to drink loads of water and eat loads of ice lollies, unless you're in a country where it's really cold, in which case put on a turtleneck.
Yeah.
And we love you. Bye.
Latest peeps.